Chambers gets a ball away to Adokar. Adokar is over halfway. Away goes the Fox. Adokar runs 75 to score. Right side play for Cronk. A decoy for Nugan. Kafauci will score. Smith for Cronk. He let Kafusi run. Oh, Slater's gone in for another finals try. Champion players, champion club. Melbourne wins another one.
There you go. 2017, 34-6. Storm entered the 2017 season off the back of the upset loss to Cronulla, which we covered last week. If you missed it, you can catch up on last week's podcast. Storm won another minor premiership, and again only losing 4 games. But first of all, heading into this year, you guys decided to rejig a few things at the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, no, we did, mate. We off the back of that loss to Cronulla, we just thought that we needed to really sort of change up the way we use the football, and we thought we got bogged down in that 2016 grand final, and really Cronulla had a lot of answers to what we were trying to do. So we thought, we need to come up with something different, and we did. It was something that we sort of had. I guess the game hadn't seen in quite a long time. I guess going back to maybe the 90s, where we used the football a lot. So we would go sideline to sideline. Really in 3 consecutive plays. We were very happy to shift the ball out of our own end, something that we hadn't really done a whole heap of under the coaching of Craig Bellamy. He was all about, up until that point, he was all about high percentage football, making sure that you had no errors in your own half, you got to your kick, and then you just tried to grind away. Whereas we still had that mindset of grinding away, but also too, we had the mix of being able to throw the football around. And I think that really, teams just struggled with this new style of footy that we were playing, where we would move a defensive line around so much. We just what we would do in the end was we just run the opposition team off their feet. So it was just so hard. Like if you couldn't shut down our ball movement, then you really struggled defensively to keep up with us, and the fitness that we had. So. Look, off the back of that, and it worked for us early, so we stuck with it. I think we won 9 of our first 11 matches. We only had a couple of drop games in that period, and 2017 was a great year. We had so much fun with our footy. We had a few new faces as well to our lineup. Josh Adokar come along,
Kamikamitha,
Smith, Brandon Smith, Husey. They all sort of joined the club, and fresh faces. Cam Munster was he made his debut in 14, right? But so he played a couple of games in 14, played pretty much half a year as fullback in 15, a full season fullback 16, but then really nailed down that number 6 jersey, partnering Cooper Cronk in the half. So he was a new sort of as a relatively new sort of lineup. With some younger guys coming in, but they had a lot of enthusiasm towards trying to play that style of football, which really worked for us. And the way it panned out the season, I missed a couple of games after sort of backing up from Origin, but those 2 matches I spoke about that we lost in, it was before like round 11, I think those 2 games we lost, they were the only games I lost all year, Kempy. For the Storm, it was only the 2 matches. So we really just stormed into the finals. And I just remember the first finals game that we played against Parramatta. That was a really, really close game. So we only just snuck home in that one. But after that match, so we get the week off, we go to the prelim. And I don't know, out of all the seasons that I was involved with the Storm, I don't know if I've ever felt as confident as I was that year. That it didn't matter who we were going to play in those next couple of games, that just no one was going to beat us.
This 2017 side, just as a fan of the game, I often refer to it as one of those sides that could go up against any of the all-time great sides. And I guess, obviously you don't want to compare premierships, or you don't want to compare sides, but when you look at it, Cronk, yourself, Slater, Chambers, Munster, like, as you said, going into games, was the mentality of, even if we get a bit behind, I am so confident in this playing group that can put it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was there's periods throughout the year where we probably weren't at our optimum. We weren't at our best, and there was times where we got behind on the scoreboard. That first semi-final against Parramatta, case in point, half time they were leading, I believe.
Yep.
They were up 10-4 and. But we had this great belief within ourselves that we had the game plan to go out, and no matter who we played against, if we executed that game plan, that it was going to be better than all the other sides. And so we had the belief in the game plan, we had the belief in each other, and we had the belief in ourselves that all we had to do was put all of that together, and if we executed all those things, then there wasn't a team that could beat us. So as the year went on, and we sort of nailed down our game plan, and things just rolled on from there, mate. It become a bit of like it was almost like we were this like runaway freight train.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And we just kept gaining momentum, and speed, and just whoever got in our way, we just careered through them. And particularly the last couple of weeks, like we had a big win over the Bronx, and then come up against
in a prelim.
30. Yeah, fairly convincing win in a prelim, isn't it?
Oh, mate, 30-0 in a prelim. It's amazing.
Yeah, so that was a great victory. I reckon we started the game okay, but we kicked on in the second half, and then we come up against the Cowboys, who, mate, the Cowboys. This is one of the more remarkable final series by any team sort of in recent memory, where they were on their Mad Monday.
That's crazy.
They were having beers.
Yep.
They were having beers in a pub in Townsville, and then they've turned on the Sunday Arvo game, and the results have gone their way, and they've gone, hang on, boys. We're in.
No way.
No more. Put the beers down, get home, get to bed. We're training tomorrow. And then they went on their run. If you look at their path into the grand final compared to ours, it was more, it was the fairy tale.
There's the Roosters. They upset the Roosters, the Sharkies. Yeah,
and there was who was the other? There was one more team. I forget who the other team was.
I just remember Michael Morgan, Taumalolo.
Oh, mate, those two.
Oh.
Incredible. So we get to, mate. So speaking about those two, so we get to the grand final, and just forgetting about sort of our supreme confidence, but the goal was okay, right? They've got a pretty good side who loves attacking, right? They love using the football, and they're a dangerous footy side if you get them down your own end. If you allow them to have good field position for long periods of time, they'll punish you and they'll score points. But the main two, the focus for us was Taumalolo, obviously with his running game. Like that was peak Taumalolo.
Oh, mate.
He was just
300 metres a game, all that stuff.
Oh, mate, yeah, 300, yeah, all those ridiculous numbers he was punching out at that time. He had a left foot, he had a right foot, just really hard to get a hold of and get to the ground. So our main focus was him. So whenever he looked like he was going to get the football, let's get at him quickly. Take his time away, take any opportunity for him to build momentum and to break tackles or poke his nose through and play the ball quickly, all that sort of type of stuff. And then Michael Morgan, mate, his kicking game through that final series,
unbelievable.
Like he was finishing matches with like 700-800 kicking meters. So he just kicked teams to death. And that's like remembering that's when Jonathan Thurston had to have the shoulder reconstruction after game 2 of Origin that year. Yep. So he didn't play the back half of the year, right? So it was Michael Morgan was their main man. So our two targets were Taumalolo, get to him quickly, take time and space away from him, and then Michael Morgan was put him under pressure with his kicking. So that was our main focus. Outside of that was, hey, let's go and play our normal game and it'll be good enough. So that's what we did right from the start. A pretty close game, to be honest. Like it was a pretty even contest until Will Chambers fielded that kick, was able to position himself where he got that one-handed pass away to Joshua Addo-Carr, and he flew down that right-hand side of the field and scored.
Mate, seeing Addo-Carr fly.
Yeah, it's a good side, eh?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, mate. Playing dummy half, and you're about 18, 20 minutes in, and you've made about 15 or 18 tackles. seeing your winger fly 70 metres down the sideline, you just think, oh, thank goodness.
Oh, mate.
Thank goodness. I get a bit of a spell.
Mate, this was the Fox just at his absolute pinnacle. So what do you reckon this meant for you guys? You know, you've had some important wins, obviously 2020, 2012, but 17 to come back and be as dominant as you did after the heartbreak of last year. What did it kind of feel like?
Well, it was a great feeling, mate, right? It was a great feeling because it's pretty much the worst feeling in the game is losing the grand final. So getting yourself into that match and then losing it, it's just awful. It's not a great feeling. It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe winning one, and it's hard to describe the feeling when you lose one as well. You just sort of sit there and go, well, what was that all for?
Yeah. You'd almost rather get knocked out earlier in the
season. Yeah. But then to be able to bounce back the way we did, particularly with some of the young guys coming in that really hadn't experienced any finals football at all. And it was actually funny, like hearing some of them talk, particularly guys like Brandon Smith are like, oh, mate, how hard's the NRL? How hard's the NRL? Great. It's my first full season. I've won a premiership.
Yep.
So, or part of a premiership winning squad. But, look, it was a great feeling, mate. It was a great feeling to be able to do that. And particularly that one as well, given, coming into that match, we knew that was the last time, myself, Billy and Cooper were going to play together as the spine of the Melbourne Storm. Like, we played so many games together up until that point, even, going back to, all the North days and all that sort of stuff. But, to win that was really special to be able to do that as a bit of a sign off as the 1, 7 and 9 for the Melbourne Storm.